All right. I will post them in Google Classroom, and on these ones can actually go Google Classroom and YouTube. Okay. So I'm glad it helps, Robert. I really appreciate the feedback on that. Okay, so I'm going to switch computers here. And Mikey, you're just going to pay attention, but you got to give mommy a little elbow room, okay? Because I got to be able to use my elbows and not knock you in the head. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the number order that you guys put it in here rather than trying to kind of mix match numbers. So that way we get all the ones that were asked. And since Brianna's were first, we're going to start with Brianna's list, which is 12, 14, 15, 16. All right. So, and as I'm going through, you guys are hopefully going to help me out a little bit. All right, so let me, uh-oh, mine aren't numbered. That's not good. Mine aren't numbered, Mikey. All right, so I'm going to kind of number them as I start counting them up here, because I numbered by item in Otis, right? So this one would be 1, 2. Do you like the colors? 3. Okay, 4. And then 5, 6, 7. Ooh, 7, 8. 9, 10, and 10 has a couple of parts to it, it looks like. 11. Make sure I'm getting the numbers right. And this one is 12. Do I have the right number 12, Brianna? Is that the one you're looking for me to do? Just making sure. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's start with this one, guys. And whatever we don't get to today, in class, we will do, I'm going to take a little about 10-15 minute break into third period so I can make sure I can take care of everybody at home, and then I will send out a link so both you guys in third period can join. And then we will do another little one after school. I have my daughter's home after, we'll be done with her classes after school, so we'll do a little bit after school, and then we can also, we'll be doing some drinks. I'll be recording during second period tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get through all of them. Okay, you can pretend to write on this one. Did she come back, Andy? All right, so here we go. So we've got the functions f and g are differentiable for all real numbers. The table below gives the values of the function and their first derivatives at selected values of x, with a being a constant. And that's what's kind of weird about this one, is that they have a being a constant. So sometimes our answers are going to be left in terms of a. Okay. There's the one I'm looking for right there. And of course, I don't have the other page of it, or do I? Nope. Didn't grab all the pages. That's a bummer. Okay, so if h of x equals f of sine of f of x, write an equation of the line tangent to the h at the point where x is equal to 1. Okay, so tell me in the chat, what two things do I need to write equation of a tangent line? Good job. We need a point and we need a slope. Okay, so we need point and we need slope. Okay, so all I know right now is that the x value of my point is 1. So if I look though at 1 in the chart, I actually do have the y value of the point, which is 3 pi over 4. Okay, which something doesn't seem quite right. Oh no, wait. That's f of x. I don't have the y value of the point, but I can get it. So watch how I get that, okay? Because I'm looking at the answer too. Because this is the tricky part about this one. Do you see how they're telling us that this is h, but in the table I've only got f and g, okay? So just so you know, this other one walked in. You want a baba? Okay, I'll have to get it in a few minutes, okay? So why don't you, let's see, there's some left over. Here's a few sips right here. Drink that, okay? Okay. All right. So we're going to take this value here and we're going to plug it into that equation. Okay. So we have h of 1 equals sine of f of 1. Mommy needs you to be quiet right now. I know. Mommy needs you to be quiet. Okay. Okay. So we've got sine. of 3 pi over 4. So we're going to put 3 pi over 4 there. Okay. So now I have to pull out the unit circle. So this is actually kind of a big problem. It looks very small, but it's a big one. 3 pi over 4 would be this one, right? 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. I know that this coordinate here is -1, 0, so I count up 1, 2, 3. So all I really need is this, and I know our answer is going to look a little different than what they put here, and I'll show you how to get that, and that's my fault for doing it that way probably. So we would have put in that it's square root of 2 over 2. Okay, not right now, please. Okay, not right now. You need to pretend. Right. So the difference in what we have here for our y value and what they put in for their y value is that they did the unrationalized version of it. It's just going to be a disaster today. I apologize. Okay, they were totally fine during first period, did nothing. Okay, so we are going to, so that's the y value that we're going to put in, and that will match here, okay? I would accept both answers, however, on the test. I just didn't get that in the review if I did one on this like this. Okay, so now we need to find the slope. Okay, so tell me in the chat. Thank you, Robert. It adds a little excitement today, right? Okay, we're going to, so what do I need to do to get the slope of the line, guys? Tell me in the chat. What are we supposed to do to get the slope, Davy? Do you know? You know, with two things we've learned this year. We know to get a tangent line, we got to use the point and the slope. What's the other thing? There we go. Thank you, Marissa. Marissa says it's the derivative. There's some in there. Okay. Okay, give me 1 minute. You guys start taking the derivative of this for me, okay? I'm going to go get some babas and maybe they'll be quiet for a minute, okay? So take the derivative. Wait, back up, back up, back up. Okay, oh look, there's a baba right there. Okay, there you go. How about this one? You finish that one. Okay, all right, we're good. I found one that was sitting here. Okay, so we're going to take our derivative. So we're going to go h prime of, oh, okay, so what rule are we going to need to take this derivative? Look in here. Mikey, not right now. Okay. All right, so right now we have, so what rule is that? Can you guys help me out in the chat? Hoping there's a delay. I did give you a little bit of a hint. I gave you the color here. So what rule is going on right in here? Because I've got sine of f of x. There we go. Thank you, Jocelyn. It is chain. So we're going to go ahead and put the u as going to be the f of x, which means that u prime equals f prime of x. We're going to just keep following our rules. So the sine of u, stop, Mikey, okay, equals, so we're going to take that derivative. All right, so help me out in the chat again. What is the sine of u? Sorry, the derivative of the sine of u. There we go. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Stephanie. It's the cosine of u. So cosine of u. And then I'm going to multiply that by the derivative of the inside, which is f prime of x. Then I'm going to do one more line. I'm going to replace my cosine u. So my cosine u is going to be the f of x. So cosine of f of x, and then I'm going to multiply that by f prime of x. Now we're going to plop the 1 in there. So put the 1 in. So we have the cosine of the f of 1 times f prime of 1. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my chart now. So the cosine of f of 1, so we're going to go f of 1, which we already know is 3 pi over 4. So cosine of 3 pi over 4, and then f prime of 1 is square root of 2. All right, cosine of 3 pi over 4. Does anybody know it? Put it in the chat if you know what the cosine of 3 pi over 4 is. Think about your unit circle again. Let me see if I can find it. Cosine is 3 pi over 4. Remember, you can use SQRT for square root. They got to see up your nose. Okay. All right, so I'm hoping that we're still paying attention there. It should be square root of 2 over 2, and then it's negative, right? Because I'm still on that coordinate. But we know that that could also result in this. So I don't know which one's better right now. So I'm going to go, actually, I think that this version is better. Okay. So that we've got -1 over square root. I know, because it can work. It's like magic, kind of like the elf. Okay. All right. Then we know that these guys cancel and I just get a -1. Okay. So all of that was just get the slope of the tangent line. Can you believe it? I'm going to leave it there for like 20, 30 seconds, let you guys get copied, and then I'll go up and do the equation of the tangent line. You took it? Yeah, okay. You don't have a computer. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and write that equation of that tangent line. So we know that the slope is equal to, we just said, -1. So we're going to, which is not what we got before, huh? Not what we got in the answer. So either I have a typo somewhere, or f prime of 1 was square root of 2. So maybe I have a typo in the problem. So my equation of my tangent line should be y minus the y value 1 over square root of 2 equals -1 x minus 1. So it's possible that I have a slight typo in the problem here. So it looks like my answer might be off, or we made a mistake somewhere, but that's the process. So hopefully that's the process. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds to make sure that's written. Then we will try to work through R here as the next one. Okay. Nope, that one's not going to work either. Sorry. All right, so now we're going to look at what we're doing with this one here. I'm going to do a little bit of rewriting because I do not want to do the quotient rule if I can help it. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite R just a little bit. So R of x equals, I'm going to say 1 over g of 2x to the 1/2 power. Then I want to bring this upstairs. So we have R of x equals g of 2x to the -1/2. So it looks like I've got a bunch of chain rules going on there, right? Because I've seen this inside function, and then I see another inside function in there. Okay, so we're going to have to do some chain ruling here. So I'm going to do, let's see, let's make our first u. I'm going to put it down below here. So u equals g of 2x. And then I see that other chain rule piece of, so we're like a peanut butter M&M or a peanut M&M. So the other, I'm going to call it W. W is going to equal 2x. So help me out in the chat. Everybody let me know you're paying attention, even though there's other distractions today. What is the derivative of 2x? Everybody should be able to get that one. So tell me where we're at. All right. Thank you for being here and participating and being part of the show today. So that is, in fact, 2. Good job. Good job. Oh, Davey says good job, too. All right. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewrite the middle function, right? So I'm going to write it as g of w, okay? And then u prime equals g prime of w, and then times the derivative of the inside function, which is 2. And then we're going to rewrite that as 2g prime of 2x. Give you a couple seconds there before I go back up to the top. All right, now we're going to rewrite the r of x. So r of x is going to get rewritten as u to the negative 1/2. I probably did not need the parentheses. So r prime of x equals, we bring the negative 1/2 to the front. We subtract 1. So when we subtract 1, we get negative 3/2. And then we also have to multiply by the derivative of the inside, which was this here. No, mommy's 2 times 2x, which equals, and I'm going to rewrite with the u. Actually, before I rewrite with the u in there, I am going to, because we do have to evaluate this, I'm going to bring this downstairs. So I've got negative 1/2 over 2 times u to the 3/2. I know, buddy. Times u to the 3/2. And then we're going to go 2 times g prime of 2x. Do we see anything in here, in this guy right here, that cancels? Do you guys see anything that I could get rid of before, as I'm writing that next line? Yeah, Marissa, it would be the 2. And it looks like we've just got a bunch of 2s in the chat, doesn't it? Okay, so the 2s would cancel. I'm going to kind of, let's see, I'm kind of out of space. Let's see if I can rewrite. I'm just, no, Davey. Mommy needs that one. You do this one. I mommy's though. All right, so we have g prime of 2x over. Your turn. Okay. Why don't we turn, can you find the remote for me and we'll turn on whatever you want on the TV? Okay. All right. There's the remote. You found it? Okay. All right. So go sit down. We got to find mommy's phone to turn on the other part of the TV. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You guys run the TV. All right. Then the U is going to be, what did I look? I lost my U. My U is G of 2x. All right, so we're not quite done yet because we still have to plug in a 2 into that. So r prime of 2 equals g prime of 2, or 2 times 2 over g of, oh, I lost the 3/2 power, didn't I? This has to be to the 3/2. So g of 2x, 2 times 2 to the 3/2 power, once I figure out what that is. So it looks like I need g prime of 4, g of 4 to the 3/2. I know, I gotta fix it. We need the other remote. Okay, so Aunt Mikey, hand me that remote over there. All right, so g prime of 4, which we happen to have, is 3. Yay. That means we're on the right track, probably. And then g of 4, which is 9. And then we've got to take that to the 3/2 power. So what's another way to write 9? Can anybody tell me another way to write 9 that would help me out right there? Another name for it? Mikey, give it to Mama. Here, I'll help you if you give it to Mama. Okay. Okay, well, you guys are gonna run it. Okay, try it. All right, good job. 3 squared. Awesome. Okay, so these are canceled. And then I've got 3 over 3 cubed is 27, which reduces. And the only thing we're off on is we missed a negative somewhere. Somewhere we missed a negative sign. It is probably because I lost it. I found it. It's right here. That negative 1/2 didn't get carried over. So let's fix that. I'm going to put it in, Amy. Let's see, we'll put it in the green color. So we need to write a negative in there, a negative in there, a negative in here, a negative in here, and here, and here, and we've got it. Yay, we did it with only like 12 distractions today. All right. You have to turn up the volume a little bit, not too much. Go sit on the ground closer, okay? So you can hear it better. Okay. We have a little bit of whatever cartoon going now. So there you go. Okay, go closer. Go sit closer. All right. Let's do, I was trying to avoid the rectangular babysitting, but it is what it is. Okay, so now we need to find the value of, this is a long one, isn't it? Okay, so we're working on this piece right here now. Okay, find the value of A if the if the tangent lines to f of g of x and g of f of x are perpendicular at x equals 3. Do we know what it means to have perpendicular tangent lines? What does that mean about their slopes? What does it mean about lines that are perpendicular in their slopes? Does anybody know? Put it in the chat for me. All right, so do we remember that when we have a perpendicular line, so when lines are perpendicular, that means their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. So that means that when I get one slope, I can flip it and I can make I can change it to the opposite sign. All right, so I'm going to definitely be doing some chain rule here. Looks like I'm doing a lot of chain rule, and I have to find both the x value and the y value when x is equal to 1. Okay, we get out at 50. All right, or when x, sorry, is x is equal to 3. So let's start with our f of, so this first derivative of this first one would be, I'm just going to call it y because we don't have anything better. So y equals derivative, actually y equals, I got to do a chain rule, right? So u is g of x. So u prime is g prime of x. So this is going to be f of u. And the derivative is going to be f prime of u times g prime of x. And then I'm going to substitute in the u again. So f prime of g of x times g prime of x. So let's see if we can get through this piece here. So I am supposed to be plugging in a 3. So we have f prime of g of 3 times g prime of 3. All right, so I got to go back to my table. I know my work is kind of crazy all over the place today, and I'm sorry about that. Just going to be a crazy all over the place kind of day. So g of 3 is 4, and g prime of 3 is 1/2. Plug those in. So this is f prime of 4, I think, right? 4 and 1/2. And times 1/2. So now I need to go back to the chart and find f prime of 4. So f prime of 4 is 2a squared. So 2a squared times 1/2 looks like I just get a squared. So we know that the derivative, I should have put a prime on this, huh? So y prime of 3 is equal to a squared. So now let's look at, I'll give you a few seconds. I'm going pretty quick. All right, let's take a look at the other piece because I'm not done yet because now I have to find the derivative of this one here, okay? This one problem could be almost the entire test, couldn't it? All right, I gave you lots of review because I wanted to make sure you were ready for like all the AP level stuff. So this is good stuff, okay? All right. And this is totally the thinking we have to go through for the AP exam because I want you guys to be super prepared for that. All right, so I'm going to do this in a slightly different color here. So I'm just going to say that it is, I'm going to go with y equals again because it makes enough sense to everybody, hopefully. So g of f of x. So I know that I want to get u again is going to be f of x. What's u prime then? Help me out in the chat because I haven't heard from you in a few minutes. So what is u prime? Tell me in the chat. Nice job, guys. So we've got f prime of x. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this one. And again, all I do on every one of these problems is, especially when it's hard like this, I just start following the rules that I know. Okay, and the kind of the things we know how to do in calculus. We know how to do limits, but that's not this unit, right? And we know how to do derivatives. We know how to do, so we know we've got to do derivatives somewhere, probably in almost every problem. So g of u. So y prime equals g prime of u times the derivative of the outside or the inside, and then I'm going to substitute back in. So y prime equals g prime of f of x times f prime of x. All right, I now need to plug in my 3. So we've got g prime of f of 3 times f prime of 3. I don't know why I drew that extra parentheses. Okay. G prime of, I got to go back to my chart. So I got to go locate my chart again. F of 3 and f prime of 3. So let's see. F of 3, I need a totally different color, don't I? F of 3 is 1 and f prime of 3 is 5. So 1 and 5. So 1 and 5. Now I've got to go find g prime of 1 in that chart again. So I'm going to go back to the chart. G prime of 1 is 1 over a. Okay, so we're almost figuring out the a. So this equals 1 over a times 5, which is going to give me 5a. So that means that we know that one of them was a squared and the other one was 5a, but that's the original slopes. So the negative reciprocal, okay, of one of them, let's see, hold on, let's read the thing again. Find the values of a if the tangent lines are perpendicular at x equals 3. Okay, so we know that if they're perpendicular, that this has to be the negative reciprocal. So I've got that negative a over 5. And then at some point, those lines have to cross, so they have to be equal to each other. So we're going to set these guys equal to each other, and let's see if we can get this to work out for us. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So we get negative 5a squared equals a. Okay, we're solving a quadratic. What does it always have to be equal to when we're solving a quadratic? Tell me in the chat. Excellent job. It has to be equal to 0. So, and again, I recognized a rule that I knew from algebra 2, so I'm just following that rule. Okay, now, what should I do here? So I've got the quadratic. What's my next step? Good job, Jocelyn. We're going to factor, okay? And we're going to do a greatest common factor factoring. So I am going to pull out a negative. Actually, I'm not going to pull out a negative. I'm just going to pull out an a. No, let's pull out a negative a. Let's go with the negative a. That'll make life easier, right? So negative a equals 5a minus 1 equals 0. All right, we're going to get out good old zero product property, one of our favorites. So negative a equals 0 and 5a minus 1 equals 0. We're going to divide by the negative, we get 0. We're going to add the 1 and divide by the 5, and we get 1/5. So those are our values for a. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to catch up. Andy, are you supposed to be in class? Okay, then well, you shouldn't be in here. Put your headphones on, dude. It's a 3-ring circus right now. We had to move Andy out of his normal classroom today because the little guys needed it. So he's in the dining room today. All right, so we've gotten through one of the problems on the list, but it was a big one, wasn't it? All right, I'm going to scroll back up. We're going to do number 14 next. Right, does anybody have any questions? Did I catch everything on that one that we needed? I hope you all are doing okay. Okay, so we might get through only maybe 2 or 3 today because we've only got like 10 minutes left here. All right, so let's see. That one was number 12, meaning this one's number 13. And then this one here is number 14. Okay, so that says we've got this curve, and it looks like we've got to find the dy dx of it, and then we've got to find equations of the tangent lines. And don't you just love these ones where it says it's one question and then it turns into actually it's like 2 or 3 questions based on the same stem? That's basically what a free response problem is like on the AP test, is they give us one basic question stem and then we talk about 3 or 4 things about it. So, all right, so help me out with this here. What kind of differentiation do we see? Is there any rules that we see in there that we need to apply, or is there a specific type of differentiation do we need to do? Is it implicit? Is it explicit? Tell me in the chat, what are you guys thinking? All right, Marissa and Jocelyn, awesome job. Was there a contest there to see who would get it first? So it is definitely implicit. Does anybody else see any other rules in there that we need to take into account when we're doing the implicit differentiation? Like, do we have oh, good job, Jocelyn. We've got a product rule going on. I definitely see the product rule hanging out right here, right? Okay, so let's see what we can do to get dy dx. So we have the derivative of 2x would be 2 dx dx. And again, dx dx could just be reduced to 1. And my thing isn't working properly, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Plus 2y dy dx minus, and I'm going to put a parentheses around this because of that negative sign. There's going to be some distribution, so there might be some, actually take that back. I'm just going to use the negative, okay? We've just got to really be careful and make sure that negative lands in front of both of them, okay? All right, so we're going to take the derivative of the red, which would be negative 1 dx dx, which is just negative 1. And I'm going to write the y the way it is. And then I'm going to write the x as the way it is, negative x, the original, and then take the derivative of y. What's the derivative of y in this context? Tell me in the chat. Help me out. Good job, ladies. dy dx. Okay, everybody can get this next one. What's the derivative of 4? All right, the derivative of 4 is in fact 0. Thank you for everyone who answered. All right, we're going to keep the dy dx on the left, and we're going to move everything else to the right. So 2y dy dx minus x dy dx equals, moving the 2 over through subtraction, moving the negative y over by addition. All right, and then what's the next step, everybody? What do I have to do next? Good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay, so we're going to factor out that dy dx. So dy dx, we're taking out the 2y minus x equals negative 2 plus y. And now we're going to take this ugly mess and we're going to divide it to the other side. So dy dx equals negative 2 plus y over 2y minus x. So that's what we would put here. Why does it say, oh wait, okay, so look at what the answer is typed. All that happened was look, the answer's just backwards of that. So I could just rewrite it, my numerator, and switch the order. I don't know if it will take it in the opposite order. It might. I may have pushed the button where it'll take it in the opposite order. So if it's not, just try manipulating the order a little bit. Give you a few seconds there. Okay. Let's do the equation of the tangent line. And notice that there's actually going to be 2 equations of tangent lines. And I give you a hint, solve for y and write the slope, 0 slope equation first. Apparently we're going to have a 0 slope equation. All right, so let's go back and look at, oh, we're supposed to find it when x equals 1. Okay, so what are the two things again that we need for equation of a tangent line? Can you tell me in the chat, please? Excellent, we need a point and we need a slope every single time. Okay, I know the x value of my point is going to be 1. I know I could get my slope by plugging into here. So let's do that. Let's get our slope. So we're going to find dy dx when x is equal to 1. Uh-oh, wait, I can't even do that, can I? Because I don't have y. How am I going to get y? Can you tell me in the chat how are we supposed to find y? Because I need it for the point, the y part of the point too. How do we do that? Casey, excellent job. We're going to plug that x into this original equation. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself, let's see if I can squeeze it in up here so I have the original. Okay, so here's the original. I'm going to plug in 2 times 1 plus y squared minus 1y equals 4. Okay, so see, 2 times 1 is 2. Plus y squared minus y equals 4. It looks like I've got something that's quadratic. So rather than taking the 2 to the right, I'm going to bring the 4 to the left. I'm going to rearrange a little bit. So y squared minus y, 2 minus 4 would be negative 2 equals 0. All right, we got to get out the good old magic x. So two numbers that multiply to negative 2 and add to negative 1. Can you help me out? It's a little noisy here and I'm forgetful. What two numbers multiply to negative 2 and add to negative 1? Negative 2 and positive 1. All right, excellent job, Jocelyn. So we've got that y minus 2 times y plus 1. Now, you guys are in AP Calc, right? Hopefully you've recognized the pattern when we don't need a box, that we just take and swap those signs. I don't necessarily need to see every single tiny little step of the factoring. I need you to get to the 2 and the negative 1 without, of course, using the internet to search for it for you. So I'm now now that I have those, I actually know that there's 2 points. There's the point 1, 2 and the point 1, negative 1. So I actually have to figure out the slopes based on both of those. So I'm going to start with 1, negative 1. So I'm plugging the y value of negative 1 in. And then I've got 2 times negative 1 minus 1. Okay. And then we've got negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 minus 1. And then we've got negative 3 over negative 3, which reduces to 1. All right, so we've got y, I'm putting it into the equation of the tangent line, y minus my y value, negative 1, equals my slope 1 times x minus 1. Double negative is going to go positive. I am going to go ahead and put this into y equals because that's what they asked me to kind of do here. It's supposed to be y equals. This is saying response 1 and response 2. If that pops up in yours, I don't know if it will or not. And I'm going to move this to the other side. Oh, check this out. I move it to the other side. I get y equals x minus 2. So that's not the 0 sloped one. So I would type x minus 2 into that part right there, because it told me in the instructions to put the 0 slope line first. Okay, let's do the 0 sloped line, or the other slope line. So I'm going to plug the other point into my derivative here. Okay, which actually I could use. I'm going to use this one here because that's what we used before. Okay, so I'm going to find dy dx of x, or sorry, not x equals. I shouldn't have written x equals there on the other one either. I should have just written it's 1, 2. So we have the 2 going in for y, so 2 minus 2 over 2 times 2 minus 1. 2 minus 2 is 0 over 4 minus 1 would be 3. Not that it matters because my numerator is 0. So we're do equation of tangent line. So y minus 2 equals the 0 slope times x minus by 1, right? 0 times anything is just 0. And I bring the 2 to the other side, so I just would get, all I would type into that one would be a 2. Are we doing okay? Because we are now at time. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to, if you want to join us during third period, you can. Okay. Thank you for telling me you're okay, Robert. I'm glad you are, because this was quite a day. We did like 2 problems, but there were like 5 problems embedded in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys I'm going to do like a 15-minute break here. I'm going to make sure that the kiddos are okay. I will send out a link in about 15 minutes to a Google Meet. If you want to join us to do some more, we can. If not, I will put recordings up if anybody comes. And then this afternoon, I've got another session, and I can probably go beyond the 3:15. We can do like 3:30 or 3:45 if we need to today. Okay. So other than that, hope you guys have a great day, and I will see some of you in a little bit maybe. Okay.